Hello, good morning. Thank you for joining today's webinar. In today's webinar, we're going to talk about how variants and versions work in Beas Manufacturing. So variants and versions are different ways you can handle bill of material and routings for items. With those features, you only will have one item set up, but gives you the flexibility to make a change to the item. For example, if you maybe have a special going on and add another item for this month, maybe they get a free item if they buy a certain item, or maybe certain customers buy this item, but you have to change the few raw materials just for this particular customer, and you want to keep track of it. Version control will be able to handle that. So the item is always the same, but maybe the BOM, the bill of material changes, or the routing, meaning the resources used to make the item. Version control also gives you the ability to manage items life cycle by adding the status for the different item versions. The versions are set up on the item master data and will be transferred into the work orders. You can select the versions on the sales orders, which will carry through your production process. Also, it will link the serial or batch numbers to the version produced, and you can see the quantity of the versions in the system. The item must be batch serial managed, of course. For the variant feature, you can have up to 26 different variants. Variants are limited. Also important to know is if you use variants, you will not know what is in stock for each variant, since it's all put towards this one item. So if you maybe just change a routing for a particular production, maybe you have to outsource it, once in a while for this item. It does not really matter for you to see the inventory separate, because it is the same item and you don't care what resource was used to complete the production order, for example. Since again, the produced item, the end, what you get is always the same. So let's go into SAP Business One, and I'm going to open the item structure window, and we're going to work with two different items. I'm going to do a search and put in my match code, and you see I have here two different items, and we're going to work with this one first. If I open it up, you see I have all my raw materials here, and I also have my operations right here. Okay, if I click into the item master data, you see I have a variant tab right here. If you do not see this variant tab, you need to go to and want to work with variants, you need to go to Administration, System Analyzation, Configuration Wizard. Under Master Data, and if I expand Item, you see right here the variant option, and I have it checked. Okay, so you have to turn it on. Once it's turned on, you will have this variant tab. So you have up to 26 variants, and you can name them whatever you would like to. Okay, so you can do it maybe external, internal, if you want to outsource one once in a while, or maybe you want to use a different resource. If you do items like a batch of 500, a batch of 1,000, then a different resource is used. So you name them the way it fits your company's need, and people can easily understand what it's used for. So here are your variants. When I go to my bill of material, you see those are all my items I'm using for this, all the components I'm using for this item, and you see also here, those are my routings for this item. So I'm going to go back to bill of material, and you see I have two columns here, variant A and variant B. You can make them visible when you right click and you go to Windows settings. And of course, you can have up to 26 variants, but would suggest only have the ones visible you're using. And if you go down here, you see right here, there's variant A, variant B. You see I put one in color, and maybe I want to have C available too. Okay, so here you can set them what you want to see. You can put a tooltip in here, kind of explaining the user what it is for. And if I update and click OK, you see I have variant C here also now. Okay, but I'm not using it, so I really don't have to make it visible. So here you decide, you go through it, very simple. You say, okay, this component 1 and component 2 goes with variant A, and component 7, 8, and 3 go with variant B. Okay? And then you can do the same with the routing. If I go over here, and you see right here, I have the variant A and variant B. So one operation routing goes with variant A and the other one with variant B. Very simple, very straightforward. It's just checking those marks, those check marks. So if I go in here now, I'm going to click OK. And you saw already I have some different ones. I didn't want to get out from the item master. What's really nice is also if you go to calculation and you run the calculation, and let's say I'm going to run it for variant A. Sorry about the naming right here. Mine is called 1000. And I start it. You will see the ones I do not have checked, they're inactive. You see the gray ones right here? They're inactive because they go actually to a different variant. Okay, if I cancel this just for you to see, and I'm changing it to variant B, to external, in my case, you will see it's going to look different. It knows what to pick up. Now, there we go. The 2 on the top, component 1 and 2, grayed out, and you see that the external process is active. So that's a very simple way for you to have the flexibility. If the item, there's just a little bit of difference, or you do an external, sometimes you have to do an external process to send it away to get it assembled, but a lot of times you do it internally. So, but you don't matter. The item is always gonna be the same. Also, good to know is if you have nothing checked here, then it considers, it's for every variant, of course. Okay, and you saw right here the little tooltip. You can actually put in there for the employees to know what this is. Okay, so with variant at the end, the product is always the same. The difference is how I manufacture the product. Okay, if you want to have a little bit more control about the different products, and you want to know, for example, how much you have in inventory for certain version, then we're going to talk about version control. Because when you use variant, it puts it in inventory as the same item all the time. Again, because you don't care which resource was used or what's, whatever different reason. But with version control, you can actually see what was how many pieces I have for a particular version in inventory. You still only have one item. You see right here. We're going to go to the next item. You still only have one item, but you see I have two versions for this item. And I made them red and I made them purple, so you see them easily. But you can also change the bill of material, you can change the routing, just like with the variant, but you can see them, you can see which version, how many pieces you have in stock. So if I go into this item and first you see right up here, I have a little delay, oops. If you see up here, the version control is handled up here. Okay, again, under an administration, you turn on version control, systemization, configuration wizard under master data item. Just where I turned on the item, this is where you would turn on the version control. And there is a couple other things you can set, you know, automatic numbering, or if I go to master data, and under item, there is your iVersion administration right here. Okay. For example, you will see that, you know, when you iVersion release, when I create a new version, I want it to be released right away. Or do I do it manually? Meaning I create a new version and somebody has to release it manually. The numbering. So do you want to have a certain sequence? BS starts with 001, 002. But if you want to have something different, okay? Default version status. So this is your administration of the versions. So you set them up in here. So you see I have for this item 2 versions. I already set them up. If I go in here, here are my 2 versions, and I'm gonna click back here. So how did I set those up? So I go in here, this is version 1. You put in your description, revision, and drawing number. That's just for information for you. And you see my status is released. So if I go here, you see I have several different statuses. That's the beauty of it, because you can control the status. Those come already with the system, with BS, but you can change them, or you can create your own. But for example, let me go to the first one. You can see right here, this is called construction, and I can do sales orders, delivery notes, I can do the purchasing side, I can do work orders with this status, okay, for this version, and I can do work order approval, so you default work order, so I can do everything with this, basically, okay? So if I go to another one, release, you will see I can do everything also. So they're set up this same, but the status is different for you to follow. But for example, runout, I have one called runout. So maybe you have an item you're not gonna sell anymore. You're not gonna produce anymore. So I have sales order unchecked, but you know what? I do actually wanna have sales order checked. It makes more sense, because maybe I still have some of the items in stock and I really want to sell them, but I'm not going to produce them anymore. Okay, so I can change this. So this is an item, okay, I'm only going to sell what I have left, but I'm not going to produce anymore. So those are your types you can create or change the ones you or create your own types. And you saw on the administration, iVersion administration, it says, when I create a new version, I always want it to be set to release. Okay, so then you can say right here, valid from. I like that. So maybe you have a special running. It's December for the holidays. We're gonna have from December 1st till the end of December special running. If they buy this bike, they get a water bottle with it, and we just need to put another component to it. So you can set that right here. Okay, and it's released right here. You can lock it, of course, too. Then you can put a blockage reason and so on. So you set up the versions here, and if you set, see right now, see right here, I have another one. Exactly the same thing. Okay? So now you're like, well, how I'm gonna tell it, which version goes with which component, for example. So you go in here, you can go in here and say, okay, this component 1 goes right here, goes with what version? You have an extended tab here. And then you say, okay, you can do a version range. I only have 2. But let's say, okay, this one goes with only version 1. Okay, update. So you go through each one and you tell it which of this bill of components go with which version. And then we go to the next one. And again, you go right here and say, okay, this one goes only with 2. And you update. So here you go through it and set which version certain components go with. So then you go to routings, you do the same thing. I'm not going to do anything to the other ones, but you do the same thing. You open up the routing and you're going to have it here on the extended tab. And again, you have version range. So let's say the first one goes with version 1 and I'm going to update, and my second routing goes with version 2. I'm going to click it on here. So you go through the routing, you go through the bill of material, and you decide which one goes with which version. I'm going to click on extended again, and I said I'm going to do this one to version 2. There we go, and I update that. Okay, so if I go now, click OK, and I click OK. So if I go now here, you will see, if I go to version 1, you see I have this, and I only have assembly. If I go to version 2, here I have external process. I'm looking at the routing, okay, the operation. Okay, so it's different. This one has different component than this one. Both have 4, but just different components. Before I said that, I meant to show you, sorry, I forgot, it was exactly the same, but now I did put components in different version, as you can see. Okay, so if I'm going to go back to my item. So this is, hold on, it kind of froze on me. So now I'm going to go in here. Oops, I'm happy clicker this morning. Let's go back to the item. So you see this one is set to version 2. That's why you see also on the item structure version 2 is active now. You need to have one active. This is the one that's active right now. But of course on the sales order you can tell it which version, which I will show you. But what I want you to see now, you see right here the administration, I have extended view. Now I'm going to change this to separate bill of material. And you see it's going, the bill of material tab and the routing tab is gone. Why is that? Because what's going to happen, I'm going to click update. The way we just did it with the extended view, you go to the bill of material, you open it up, you decide which version it goes to. So this is really recommended for very minor changes Okay, but just imagine you have a huge bill of materials and there's really a lot of changes, you know, with maybe 100 components and so on. Then you can use this, because what this does, so here are my versions, nothing else changed, but I'm going to go back to my versions. And if I open it up, you will see you will have 2 additional fields. And you have it right here, bill of material and routing. Instead of going through one by one, you can actually go ahead and create the bill of material first. Okay, you create the bill of material first, for example. Let's pick this one. It is a bike also. You attach the routing, link the routing with it, and then you just go ahead and choose it right here. And this is really, again, if you have a large bill of material, very long bill of material, a lot of changes, you most likely want to input the bill of material and then just attach it on the versions right here. So that's the difference between those two, separate bill of material and extended view. Okay. So now I'm going to change it back to extended view because mine is pretty small. So now I want you to show what's with version you actually have, you can get the information out of the system. How many do I have in stock for each version? If I right click here and I go to the inventory history report, you will see right here you have an iVersion tab. And you see right here, I already did a transaction. I see version 1. This is my batch number, and I have 2 in stock. On version 2, my batch number is different. I have 7 in stock. Okay, and you can also, when you go to inventory and you go to where are my batch reports? Let me see. I forgot. If you go to inventory, you go to item management and batches. And if I click on all batches, you can also see here all your batches, but you also see the versions right here, which makes it really nice. So you do have a little bit more control. You get more information if you use version. If this all doesn't matter, then variant is the way to go. Okay. So last, I want to show you once you put in a sales order. Let me get out of this and here. Okay, if I put in a sales order and I'm just gonna put this in here and let's do this one, this item. And you see right here, you right click and you say variant A. This is my variant item. Okay, so you click on it and now you choose which one it is. Okay, and I'm gonna put in, oh, I didn't choose it, I'm sorry. I'm gonna right click again, variant A, and I choose it and I click apply. So in this sales order, I'm gonna use variant B in my case. Okay, and if I right click, you also see if I calculate here, do the calculations like we did on the item master earlier, you see that some of the more materials, they're grayed out. Oops. Okay, update. Just like we saw on the item master before. So of course it follows through. There we go. Okay, so now the way you do it with versions, No, I don't want to save the changes. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to just change my item, and I'm going to change it to this one. Okay, and right here, there we go. You tap right here are my versions. I tapped off in my case, and I said, okay, this is a sales order where I would like to use version 2. And it will know what to take, which component, which operations routings go with version 2. Okay. Well, thank you so much for joining today. I hope you enjoyed it. Here is our information. If you have any questions down the road, please write us to sales@boyumit.com or to support@boyumit.com. If you want to see any other products of Boyum, please let us know. Thank you so much for joining today, and have a great rest of the day. Bye-bye.